Edward came into the world with blades for hands. Simple things like eating turned dangerous, and he'd often nick his own cheeks by accident. His creator planned to give him real human hands, but died suddenly from exhaustion before he could finish. The prosthetic hands smashed to pieces on the floor, and in his final attempt to caress his father's face, all Edward felt was blood. For years afterward, he lived isolated in a crumbling, forgotten mansion. Then one day, a door-to-door saleswoman named Peg stumbled inside. Despite the eerie, decaying surroundings, she pressed forward, climbing the staircase without fear. From the darkness, Edward emerged, lifting his blade fingers as a warning. But once she realized he had no one and nowhere to go, she chose to bring him home with her. On the drive over, Edward stared out the window, mesmerized. This was his very first glimpse of the world beyond his castle walls. Peg's house was warm, tidy, and full of light, and she even gave him his own bedroom. When she introduced her family, Edward found himself drawn to her daughter's beauty, but catching his reflection in a mirror filled him with shame. He tried touching his own face and cut himself again. Curious about a strange waterbed, he pressed it lightly and punctured it instantly, quickly hiding the damage under a stuffed toy. Attempting to pull on a pair of pants, he got hopelessly tangled. Peg rushed in, freed him, bandaged his cuts, and helped him dress. At dinner, he couldn't grip silverware and fumbled his food repeatedly, but with her guidance, he managed to butter a slice of bread, and for the first time, he felt a flicker of hope for a normal life. That night, unable to sleep, he was startled when the daughter returned home unexpectedly. Terrified at the sight of him, she fled the room screaming. Edward tried to bolt, but the father stopped him. Once things settled, Peg formally introduced him to her daughter, but the moment the girl showed genuine curiosity toward him, Edward passed out cold. The next day, Peg covered his scars with makeup, though it left him looking like a clown. Outside, he watched the father sculpting hedges and decided to try it himself, instantly carving a perfect dinosaur. Stunned by his talent, the father put him in charge of the entire garden, and Edward went on to sculpt the whole family in topiary form. When the son tried to hose down his rusty-prone blades, the father stopped him just in time. News of Edward spread fast. The whole neighborhood embraced him, some even used his hands to skewer kebabs. He became the town's go-to gardener, trimming hedges for everyone. Eventually, he started grooming dogs too, and soon families lined up with their pets for a trim, some even requesting custom haircuts. He was even brought to the local school to demonstrate his paper-cutting art, earning cheers from the crowd. From an abandoned, friendless outcast, Edward transformed into the town's beloved, celebrated artist. Would you have taken him in? Drop your thoughts below.